keep hearing a lot of financial misapplication. What happens to those reports or afterwards? And then regarding the plea bargain, you also spoke about people have approached for plea bargain. We keep hearing it that consistently. We are going for Christmas. How much so far would you say you have been able to garner? Maybe we can use some for Xmas. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So the Auditor General report, as you rightly pointed out, is usually replete with acts of malfeasance by public officers. And then most of the time, they appear before Parliament. They are queried on those acts of malfeasance or audit findings. And then some of them are able to come up with evidence that they either did not, they either did not commit the malpractice alleged, okay, or that they have since remedied the situation. All right. Now, that is within the remit of the Auditor General. The power to surcharge and to disallow and surcharge is a power granted under Article 187 of the Constitution to the Auditor General. So he alone can disallow and surcharge. All right. I come in, or my office comes in, at the point where we have to take action to recover. We have to take legal action to recover. And that is where we can come in and take the action, based upon the disallowance and surcharge notices to recover from the persons who have been, surcharged. Yes. And then talking about recovery, offers have been made, as I've said. In some cases, in the National Service case, for instance, one person offered to pay 22 million Ghana cedis, okay, out of, I think, 30-something, about 38 million, and I rejected the offer. All right. So, yes, offers, keep being made, but sometimes the offers are made conditional on people just bringing the money and walking away, and I say no. So that is where we are. That is why we haven't recovered. But we will certainly recover, and we will recover a lot of money. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Attorney General, for that concise briefing and your crisp responses. So we will draw down the curtains on today's edition, and in fact, this year's edition, unless something of biblical proportions happens before the end of the year. So to all of you who have been part of the success of this program throughout the year, I extend sincere thanks to you. I hope to see you next year. Merry Christmas to all of you.
The company owned by financial loss to the state in the sum of 24,255,735 Ghana cedis. This figure represents the principal sum plus the interest that has accrued so far. And ladies and gentlemen, by the time we file charges, which will be definitely after the Christmas break when we resume work, it might be that this figure would have increased because the interest on the principal keeps compounding. And so we will get the exact figure of the amount that is involved in this, criminal enterprise from the Exim Bank before we file charges in court. Ladies and gentlemen, in the case involving Mr. Percival Akpalu of the Liberal Party of Ghana, the Financial Intelligence Center flagged and filed a suspicious transaction report with First Bank Ghana Limited regarding transactions on an account belonging to Poma Universal Ghana Limited. That is a company owned by the said Kofi Akpalu. Following the STR, that is a suspicious transaction report by the FIC, the Economic and Organized Crime began an investigation into the matter. The investigations revealed that Poma Universal Ghana Limited, a business entity owned entirely by a lady called Ekua Poma, was a legitimate contractor that was awarded a feeder roads contract by Cocoa Board. The contract, which was valued at 29.5 million Ghana cedis, was awarded in December 2020. Although the project commenced and an initial amount was properly deposited into Poma Universal Ghana Limited, subsequent payments raised serious concerns regarding misrepresentation, forgery, and unauthorized handling of the checks. Our investigations revealed that Akpalu secretly incorporated another company, separate and distinct from Poma Universal Ghana Limited, also known as Poma Universal Ghana Limited, but deliberately added H to the Poma. So Poma is P-O-M-A-A, all right, Ghana Limited, which is a company which is owned by Ekua Poma. What the company that he incorporated added H to the Poma, so it became, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the same Poma, Poma Ghana Limited, Universal Ghana Limited. But the difference was just the H at the end of Poma. And so after having done this, between December 2022 and June 2024, Akpalu collected 8 checks issued by Cocoa Board in the name of Poma Universal, totaling 3.1 million, that is 3,169,432 Ghana cedis and 22 pesos, and deposited them into the account of his own company, that is also Poma Ghana Limited with an H at First Bank Ghana Limited. Again, our investigations confirmed that Ekua Poma was unaware of both the existence of the Poma Ghana Limited, that is the second company, and the diversion of the funds until Cocoa Board contacted her in June 2024 regarding outstanding balances on the contract. She subsequently discovered that Akpalu had collected and misdirected the payments without her consent. Ekua Poma also alleged that Akpalu forged her signature on the Cocoa Board contract using her former name, Mercy Owusu, to secure the agreement without her authorization. First Bank Ghana Limited conducted an internal investigation and corroborated the fraud allegations that we have made, concluding that Akpalu knowingly misrepresented ownership of the checks and deposited them into the wrong account. The bank acknowledged operational failures in detecting the discrepancies between the check payee names and the account numbers. The suspects who have been investigated are Percival Kofi Akpalu, Poma Ghana Limited, the Poma with the H, and Delvin Akpalu, his wife. That is the spouse of Kofi Akpalu. It's fast becoming fashionable to commit crimes with spouses these days. The evidence shows that they engage in various criminal offenses, including stealing, forgery, and money laundering. And they will be charged by my office, again, as I said, upon resumption of work after the Christmas holidays. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the media, further to the update that I provided during my press conference to announce the conclusion of investigations into the buffer stock scandal, my office continues to work with other institutions of state to bring charges in relation to the oral investigation reports submitted by the National Intelligence Bureau. As you would have known by now, pursuant to discussions with the Auditor General, the sums of money involved in the National Service scandal have been disallowed by the Auditor General, and these sums have been surcharged on the public officers who superintended the looting of state resources at the NSA. The notices of disallowance and surcharge have been duly issued and served on the said public officers. After 14 days, if they fail to show cause why the sums of money should not be disallowed and surcharged on them, the money becomes a debt due and owing to the Republic. And I will proceed to take civil action to recover the sums involved. Once a judgment is obtained, it will be executed using the civil procedure mechanisms, including the attachment of properties they own, whether or not these properties were part of the proceeds of crime. I intend to write formally to the Auditor General for confirmation of the notices of disallowance and surcharge. So I want to send a message to all public officers who are superintending the expenditure of state funds, that from now onwards, when you are charged with the offense of causing financial loss to the state, even though with respect to that offense, we don't need to show that you have in any way benefited from the transaction that either intentionally or recklessly caused financial loss to the state. We will begin the process of surcharging all public officers who have caused financial loss to the state. So in addition to the criminal charges which will be filed, we will ask the Auditor General to disallow and surcharge the sums of money lost to the state on the public officers. Now note, ladies and gentlemen of the media, I do not need to prove your guilt in a criminal matter, all right, in order to be able to succeed in the surcharge and disallowance, because that is a civil matter. It's proved on the basis on the balance of probabilities. So if you in any way recklessly or negligently cause financial loss to the state, all right, the surcharge and disallowance will be the mechanism that we'll use to recover to all public officers who are especially spending officers. Those are the ones who authorize spending on behalf of the Republic. That in situations where your conduct results either intentionally or recklessly in financial loss to the state, I will be, in addition to bringing criminal charges, asking the Auditor General to disallow the sums and surcharge those sums on the public officers involved. Now, overall, ladies and gentlemen, the oral investigations are proceeding well, and we continue to beef up initial investigative reports in order to file charges that meet the standards of proof in criminal trials. I want to also make it clear that the Office of the Attorney General depends on a number of state institutions for information that will lead to filing of charges in court. Apart from investigations conducted by by either the Economic and Organized Crime Office or the National Intelligence Bureau, sometimes we'll need agencies such as the Ghana Revenue Authority, for instance, to confirm if, for instance, tax evasion has taken place before we can go on to file charges. So when these state institutions delay, it also brings, some amount of delay to the filing of charges. So I'm also calling upon all the state institutions that 2026 is going to be a different year. If I make demands on you and you delay, I will take the view that you are complicit in the offense that has been committed, and I'll come after you. So all state institutions that have information that is required to file criminal proceedings should not should not delay in providing that information to my office for purposes of the conduct of prosecutions. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you and to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
That falls under his purview. Should please line up behind the microphone. So you identify yourself as usual and then indicate which media house you are representing. We have become aware of what the president
relating to Joseph Yamin and then Abanga. Well, first of all, I haven't received any letter to that effect. If the lawyer has made the letter publicly available, you can forward it to me, and I'm sure most of you have my numbers, so you can forward it to me immediately, and then I will take the requisite action. As far as the investigation is concerned, it is ongoing. Now, you realize that in all the briefings that I make or I do with respect to any matter being investigated by EOCU, we do not announce the results of an investigation until we have come to the conclusion. So you notice from even today's press conference that I have said I am announcing the conclusion of investigations. All right? The issue of illegal mining is a very complex one. I am not holding brief for the EOCO for any delay in issuing a report in relation to the two that I wrote to them and asked that the investigations be conducted, because we had picked some intelligence about their involvement in illegal mining. So certainly a report will be issued by the EOCO in due course. However, there are a number of persons that were connected, all right, to that, the activities that were alleged to have been undertaken by the two persons that are referred to the EOCO. Okay, so it's not like their investigation is going to be in isolation. There's a whole complex web of people who were involved, so the investigations are still ongoing. Now, the Metro TV gentleman asked the question as to whether if misrepresentations are made to banks, and the banks are based upon those misrepresentations grant loans